Most people try too hard. They text too much. They explain too much. They give too much attention. And that's exactly why they get ignored. Because obsession doesn't come from effort. It comes from mystery, control, and emotional strength. Let me show you how. Before we begin, the Stoic Tribe team is currently working on the Stoic Relationship Blueprint for Men course that's coming very soon. This will completely transform how you handle women, power, and self-control by breaking everything down step by step so you can apply it permanently in your life. This is a full system that rebuilds your mindset, your discipline, and your standards so you never lose control, chase validation, or get played again. If you're ready to become untouchable in your relationships and your life, comment the blueprint. Number 1, stop chasing. The more you chase, the less they value you, and deep down you already know this because you have lived it. You have watched yourself send that extra message, wait for that reply, check your phone again and again while she takes her time, acting like your attention is guaranteed. And the truth you don't want to admit is that she sees it. She reads your urgency like an open book. She notices how quickly you respond, how available you are, how you rearrange your time just to fit into her world. And instead of respecting it, she slowly loses interest because in her mind, if you are that easy to access, then you must not have much going on. And that is the harsh reality you need to accept right now, because chasing is not love. Chasing is a lack of control. Chasing is you placing her above your own purpose. And she does not admire that. She tests it. She stretches it. She pulls back just to see how far you will go to keep her attention. And every time you react, you confirm her assumption that she holds the power, so you need to stop. Not for her, but for yourself. You need to cut the impulse to reach out, to explain, to fix things that were never your responsibility in the first place. You need to sit in that silence and build discipline inside it, because that discomfort you feel when you don't text her, when you don't check her profile, when you don't respond instantly, that discomfort is exactly where your growth is, and most people run from it. But you don't. You stay there. You observe your own thoughts. You detach from the need to be acknowledged, and slowly something shifts inside you. You stop acting out of impulse and start acting with intention. You stop reacting to her behavior and start controlling your own. And this is where your power begins to return, because now you are no longer predictable. Now she cannot pull you in with distance or control you with attention. Now she starts to notice that something is different, that you are not behaving the way she expected. And that is what creates tension in her mind, because people do not get attached to what they already have. They get attached to what they are not sure about. And when you stop chasing, you become that uncertainty. You become the one who is not constantly available, the one who is not trying to impress, the one who is not seeking approval, and that forces her to reevaluate everything she thought she knew about you. But more importantly, it forces you to reevaluate yourself, because you start to realize how much energy you were giving away, how much time you were wasting thinking about someone who was not matching your effort. And that realization is not meant to break you, it is meant to wake you up. Because once you see it clearly, you cannot go back to being the same person. You cannot go back to chasing someone who only shows interest when it benefits her. You raise your standards, you become more selective, you stop entertaining half-effort and mixed signals, and you start building a life that does not revolve around one person's attention. And that is where everything changes, because the moment you no longer need her response to feel grounded is the moment you become dangerous in the best way possible, because now you move with clarity, you act with discipline, you speak less and observe more, you invest your energy where it actually grows, and you stop giving access to anyone who has not earned it, and whether she comes back or not stops mattering, because the version of you that needed to chase no longer exists. And that is the real shift. That is the real win. Because you are no longer trying to be chosen, you are choosing yourself. And once that becomes your standard, everything in your life starts to align differently. Your mindset sharpens, your actions become intentional, your presence becomes stronger, and people, including her, start to sense that you are no longer someone who can be controlled, and that alone changes how they treat you forever. And that is exactly why the Stoic Relationship Blueprint for Men exists, a powerful guide filled with timeless principles that reshape how you think, act, and move, so you never fall back into chasing or losing control again. It's now available in audiobook form, so you can absorb this life-changing knowledge while walking, training, or moving through your day, reinforcing discipline and clarity with every listen. It's linked in the comments, and once it's yours, it stays with you for life, giving you permanent access to the mindset, structure, and control most people spend years trying to build, but never fully understand. Number 2. Stay mysterious. People get obsessed with what they don't fully understand, and right now, you're too easy to read, too easy to predict, too quick to explain yourself. And that is exactly why she becomes comfortable pulling away without consequence, because she already knows how you will react. She knows you will reply fast. She knows you will try to keep the conversation alive. She knows you will fill the silence with effort. And when someone can predict your every move, there is no curiosity left, no tension, no reason for her to invest mentally in you. So she leans back, she observes. She gives less while you give more, and you sit there wondering why things shifted. But the truth is, nothing randomly changed. You revealed everything too early. You made yourself fully available without requiring anything in return. And now she has no reason to chase, because there is nothing left to discover. And this is where you need to shift your approach completely, not by playing games, but by reclaiming your sense of control. By understanding that not every thought needs to be shared, not every message needs an immediate reply, not every silence needs to be filled, because the moment you stop over-explaining and start holding back, something powerful happens. You create space, and in that space, her mind begins to work. She starts wondering what you are doing, who you are with, why you are not reacting the way you used to, and that curiosity builds slowly. It grows every time you choose discipline over impulse, every time you choose silence over unnecessary words, every time you decide that your time and energy are not something to be handed out freely. And this is where you begin to apply control in a way most people never do. You observe more than you speak. You listen more than you react. You take your time before responding, not to manipulate, but to act with intention instead of emotion. And this alone separates you from the majority, because most people cannot handle not being understood immediately. They rush to clarify, to explain, to prove their intentions, but you don't. You stay composed, you stay grounded, you let your actions speak over time instead of trying to force understanding in a single moment. And that is what builds intrigue, because she starts to realize she cannot read you the way she reads everyone else. She cannot predict your next move. She cannot control the pace of your attention, and that uncertainty keeps her engaged, because people value what they have to think about, what they have to figure out, what does not come easy. And at the same time, this shift is not just about her. It is about you becoming more self-contained, more focused, more aware of how you present yourself in every interaction. You stop oversharing your plans. You stop seeking validation for your decisions. You move in silence and let results speak later. And this builds a different kind of presence. One that does not rely on constant communication to maintain relevance, one that commands attention without demanding it. And when she notices that you are no longer trying to impress her, that you are no longer explaining your every move, that you are no longer seeking her approval, she starts questioning her position in your life, because now she is not sure where she stands. And that is what keeps her thinking. That is what keeps her checking. That is what keeps her engaged, even when you are not actively doing anything. And this is where most people make the mistake of breaking that pattern. They get a small sign of interest and immediately go back to overgiving, over-texting, over-explaining, destroying the very tension that was building in their favor. But you don't do that. You maintain your frame. You stay consistent. You understand that mystery is not about being distant for the sake of it, but about having a life that does not revolve around one person, about having priorities that come before constant communication, about being comfortable with not being fully understood in every moment. And when you operate like this, you naturally become more grounded, more disciplined, more focused on what actually matters. And the side effect of that is powerful, because now she is not dealing with someone who is easy to figure out. She is dealing with someone who has depth, someone who does not reveal everything at once, someone who is not controlled by the need to be liked. And that is rare. That is what stands out. That is what creates long-term interest instead of short-term attention. And as this continues, you begin to notice something inside yourself as well. You become less reactive, less dependent on external responses, more focused on your own path. And this is where the real transformation happens, because now you are not using mystery as a tactic. You are living it as a byproduct of discipline, of self-control, of having a life that is full enough that you do not need to constantly broadcast it. And whether she stays, leaves, or comes back becomes secondary, because your focus is no longer on being understood by her. Your focus is on building a version of yourself that does not need to explain its worth to anyone, and that shift alone changes everything about how people perceive you, how they interact with you, and how much space you occupy in their mind. Number 3, control your emotions. Weak reactions push people away, and you see it happen in real time even if you don't want to admit it. Because the moment she pulls back, your mind starts racing. You start questioning everything. You replay conversations. You analyze every word she said, every delay, every shift in tone. And before you know it, you are no longer in control of yourself. You are reacting. You are adjusting your behavior based on her actions. And that is exactly where she gains the upper hand, because she does not need to do much. She just needs to create uncertainty, and you do the rest. You fill in the gaps with overthinking. You hand over your focus, your time, your attention. And she sees it. She sees how quickly your state changes based on what she does. And instead of respecting that, she uses it to measure how much influence she has over you. And the more reactive you are, the easier it is for her to keep you in that position, because she knows exactly how to trigger a response. She knows when to be warm and when to be distant. She knows how to keep you engaged without fully investing. And if you do not control yourself, you become predictable. You become someone who is constantly adjusting to her behavior instead of standing firm in your own. And that is what breaks your position, not because she is stronger, but because you are undisciplined with your emotions. And this is where everything needs to change. Because control is not about suppressing what goes on inside you. It is about not letting it dictate your actions. It is about recognizing the impulse to react and choosing not to act on it. It is about creating space between what happens and how you respond, because in that space is where your power exists. And most people never develop that. They act instantly, they reply instantly, they react instantly, and they wonder why they are always in the same cycle. But you start doing something different. You pause, you observe, you let things sit without immediately jumping in to fix, to respond, to explain, and that alone starts to shift how you operate, because now you are not being pulled in every direction by her behavior. You are grounded, you are stable, you are focused on your own path regardless of what she does, and this changes how she sees you, because now she cannot get the same reactions out of you. She cannot predict how you will respond. She cannot easily influence your state, and that creates a different dynamic, because people respect what they cannot easily control. And when you show that you are not shaken by her distance, by her silence, by her inconsistency, she starts to realize that her usual patterns do not work on you anymore, and that forces her to adjust. But more importantly, it forces you to grow, because now you are not just reacting to one situation. You are building a mindset that applies to everything in your life. You start handling pressure differently. You stop letting small things throw you off. You become more composed in every interaction. And that has a ripple effect, because now your decisions are not based on temporary emotions. They are based on long-term thinking, on self-respect, on discipline. And that is where real strength comes from, not from trying to control her, but from mastering yourself. And this is where you need to be honest with yourself, because deep down, you know the moments where you lose control. You know the times you send that message you shouldn't have sent, the times you break your own boundaries just to keep her around, the times you accept behavior that you would never tolerate if you were thinking clearly. And that is what needs to stop, because every time you act out of impulse, you weaken your position. You show that your standards are flexible, that your discipline depends on how you feel in the moment. And that is not how you build respect, not from her and not from yourself. So you start setting internal rules, not for her but for you. You decide that you do not respond instantly. You decide that you do not engage in one-sided conversations. You decide that you do not chase attention that is not freely given, and you stick to it, not sometimes but consistently, because consistency is what builds strength. And over time this becomes natural. You no longer have to force it. You become someone who is calm under pressure, someone who does not get pulled into emotional reactions, someone who stays steady regardless of what is happening around him. And that changes everything, because now you are not operating from a place of need. You are operating from a place of control. And that is what shifts the entire dynamic, because she can no longer use the same patterns to get a reaction out of you. She can no longer rely on your emotional responses to validate her position, and that is where the balance starts to change. But even beyond her, this is about you becoming someone who is in control of his own mind, someone who does not let external situations dictate his internal state, someone who acts with intention instead of impulse. And that is what sets you apart in every area of your life, because once you master this, you are no longer easily shaken. You are no longer easily manipulated. You are no longer dependent on someone else's behavior to determine your own. And that is the level of control most people never reach. But once you do, everything changes, not because she suddenly becomes different, but because you do. And that is where your real power comes from. Number 4, focus on yourself. This is where most people fail, because instead of building their own life, they sit in the background waiting for her next move, watching her stories, tracking her activity, trying to decode what she is doing and who she is with. And in that process, they slowly abandon themselves. They put their goals on hold. They lose momentum. They lose discipline, and everything starts revolving around her attention, and she knows it. She sees that your world becomes smaller while hers stays the same or even expands. And instead of valuing you more, she values you less, because you have made her the center of your focus without her earning that position. And that is the mistake that keeps repeating itself, because you think giving more will bring her closer. You think being more available will make her appreciate you. But the opposite happens. She becomes comfortable. She leans back. She invests less, because she does not need to do anything to keep you there. And this is where you need to shift your entire mindset, because your life cannot revolve around someone who is inconsistent. Your time cannot be spent analyzing someone who is not matching your effort, and your energy cannot be wasted on trying to secure attention that is not freely given. So you redirect everything back to yourself, not in a selfish way, but in a disciplined way, In a way that prioritizes growth, structure, and purpose, you wake up and you focus on your body. You train, you build strength, you push yourself physically because that carries over into your mental state. You become more resilient, more focused, more in control, and then you focus on your work, your goals, your direction. You build something that has value beyond temporary interactions. You develop skills, you improve your environment. You create a life that has momentum, and that alone starts to change how you see everything. Because now your day is not empty, your time is not available for endless overthinking. Your energy is directed towards something that actually moves you forward. And this is where the shift becomes real, because now when she pulls away, it does not disrupt your entire state. It does not throw you off balance, because you have structure, you have purpose, you have something that demands your attention more than she does. And that is what gives you stability, because you are no longer dependent on her behavior to maintain your focus. And at the same time, this changes how she sees you, because now you are not constantly available. You are not always responding instantly. You are not always there to entertain her when she feels like it. You have your own life, your own priorities, your own direction, and that creates a different kind of presence, one that is not built on chasing, but on substance. And people are naturally drawn to that, not because you are trying to impress them, but because you are clearly invested in something bigger than them. And that is rare, because most people are reactive, most people are waiting, most people are looking for validation instead of building themselves. And when you step out of that pattern, you immediately stand out. But this is not just about how she reacts. This is about how you transform your own life. Because the more you focus on yourself, the less you tolerate behavior that does not align with your standards. You stop accepting inconsistency. You stop entertaining half-effort. You stop making excuses for someone who clearly shows you where you stand. And that clarity becomes your foundation, because now you are not trying to convince anyone to choose you. You are deciding who deserves access to you, and that is a completely different position, one that comes from discipline, not emotion. And this is where you need to be honest with yourself again, because you know the time you have wasted. You know the energy you have invested into someone who gave you very little in return, and instead of ignoring that, you use it as fuel. You use it to build something better, something stronger, something that cannot be shaken by one person's inconsistency. And as you continue on this path, you start to notice that your confidence is no longer tied to external validation. It is built on what you do daily, on the habits you maintain, on the progress you make, and that is something no one can take from you. And this is where everything starts to align, because now you are not chasing attention, you are attracting it without trying, not because you are focused on being seen, but because you are focused on becoming better. And that naturally changes how people respond to you, including her, because now she sees that you are not waiting, you are not stuck, you are not sitting around hoping for her to come back, you are moving forward regardless. And that creates a sense of loss on her side, because she realizes that you are not guaranteed anymore, that you are building a life that she may not be a part of, and that is when she starts paying attention again. But by that point, your mindset is different, your priorities are different, your standards are higher, and whether she comes back or not becomes irrelevant, because your focus is no longer on her, it is on you. And that is the position you should have been in from the start, not chasing, not waiting, not hoping, but building, growing, and becoming someone who does not need anyone to validate his worth. And that is what truly transforms your life. Number 5, make them earn you. Stop giving attention for free, because right now you are handing out your time, your energy, your focus like it has no value. And then you wonder why she treats it that way. You wonder why she replies when she wants, disappears when she wants, shows interest only when it suits her. And the truth is simple. She behaves like that because there is no cost to losing you. There is no standard she has to meet, no effort she has to maintain, no consistency required to keep your attention. And as long as that remains true, nothing will change, because people respect what they have to work for and take for granted what is always available. So you need to shift your position completely. You need to stop rewarding behavior that does not meet your standards. You need to stop engaging in conversations that go nowhere. Stop replying instantly to someone who takes hours or days. Stop investing in someone who gives you the bare minimum, because every time you accept that you reinforce it, you teach her exactly how little she needs to do to keep you around, and that is on you, not on her, because she is simply responding to what you allow. And this is where discipline comes in, because it is easy to say you will raise your standards, but it is hard to apply it when she suddenly gives you a little attention, when she sends that message, when she shows just enough interest to pull you back in. And that is where most people fold. They forget everything they said they would stand for. They go right back to over-investing, over-giving, over-responding, and the cycle repeats. But you don't do that. You stay consistent. You treat every interaction as a reflection of your standards, not your emotions. You take your time. You respond when it makes sense, not when your impulse tells you to. You match effort instead of exceeding it. And if the effort is not there, you step back without explanation, without drama, without trying to fix it, because you understand that you cannot negotiate genuine interest. It either exists or it does not. And you refuse to fill in the gaps for someone who is not showing up. And this is where your power solidifies, because now you are not reacting to her behavior. You are setting the tone for how you are treated. And if she does not meet that, she loses access. Simple as that. No debates, no long messages, no trying to make her understand, because your actions communicate it clearly, and this creates a different dynamic entirely. Because now she cannot rely on your availability. She cannot assume you will always be there. She cannot take your attention for granted, and that forces her to decide whether she is willing to step up or step out. And either outcome works in your favor, because if she steps up, she is now investing. She is now meeting your level. She is now showing that she values your presence. And if she steps out, then she was never worth your time to begin with. And you move forward without carrying unnecessary weight. And this is where you need to be brutally honest with yourself, because you know the moments where you accepted less than you should have. You know the times you ignored clear signs just because you wanted it to work. You know the patterns you tolerated even when they went against your own standards. And instead of avoiding that truth, you face it. You use it to build stronger boundaries, clearer expectations, and a more disciplined approach to how you engage with people. And as you apply this consistently, you start to notice a shift, not just in how women respond to you, but in how you see yourself. Because now you are no longer someone who settles for whatever attention is given. You are someone who decides what is acceptable and what is not. And that builds a level of self-respect that cannot be faked, because it is backed by your actions, by your consistency, by your refusal to compromise your standards for temporary validation. And that is what makes you stand out, because most people talk about standards but abandon them the moment they are tested, while you hold yours regardless of the situation. And that consistency creates trust in yourself, because you know you will not break under pressure. You know you will not go back to old patterns. You know you will not give access to someone who has not earned it. And that changes everything, because now your interactions are based on value, not emotion, on discipline, not impulse. And as this becomes your default way of operating, you start attracting a different level of respect, because people recognize when they cannot get away with minimal effort. They recognize when your time is not easily accessible. They recognize when your attention has to be earned. And that alone filters out a lot of low-value behavior before it even reaches you. And this is the point where everything aligns, because you are no longer chasing No longer waiting, no longer hoping. You are choosing, you are deciding, you are in control. And whether she rises to meet your standard or walks away becomes irrelevant, because your life is not built around her presence. It is built around your principles, your discipline, and your growth. And that is what ultimately sets you free, because once you operate at that level, you no longer need to make anyone obsessed with you. Your presence, your standards, and your actions do that naturally. And more importantly, you no longer rely on it. Because the real transformation is not in making her chase. It is in becoming someone who never has to chase again. They want you distracted, chasing, second-guessing yourself, because a man who controls his mind and emotions becomes impossible to manipulate and impossible to replace. That's why the Stoic Relationship Blueprint ebook for men exists, filled with timeless principles that immediately shift how you think, move, and handle women, so you stop losing yourself and start leading your life with control. It's now available in audiobook form, so you can absorb this while walking, training, or moving through your day, locking in the mindset most people never develop. It's linked in the comments, and once you have it, it's yours for life, a permanent weapon against confusion, weakness, and wasted years. If you're ready to take control, comment "No more chasing," like the video, and subscribe so more men wake up before it's too late.